Sure. A couple of years ago, about 3.5 years ago, we started a new company called Nothing, and we just felt like the consumer tech industry got really boring, and we needed to do something about it because all the other companies are huge, and when you're huge and successful, you have to be kind of selling to everybody, the mass market, and we saw an opportunity to really focus on a specific target user and break into the industry through that way.
So Carl Pei literally founded a phone company from scratch, right? After you founded OnePlus, then you left OnePlus when it's already very successful and breaking into the highly competitive global mobile phone market. Can you show us your product? It's called Nothing, but it's actually something.
This is our new product. It's called the Phone 2A.
Okay.
And I guess the main differentiation is the industrial design on the hardware, but also the software design. I think it's quite difficult to see from here, but a lot of people feel like Android is a little bit ugly, a bit difficult to use, so we really wanted to elevate the Android experience. On the back of our phone, we have a unique interface. We call it the glyph interface.
Glyph?
Glyph.
It looks like neon lights for me.
Yeah, it looks very futuristic, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So our idea here is like, how do you make people spend less time on the screen? By putting the phone down and having the glyphs activated, you can also see what's important without having to use the phone.
What kind of message or what kind of information can the glyph tell you?
It's got a lot of functionality. So let's say you order an Uber and you want to see the progress of the driver. The glyph will light up and as a progress bar to show you. You can set different lights for different people. So as an example, when your wife is trying to call you, you can see that it's your wife and you need to step out of the room. And there's a lot of features we're building on top of this. We also released the SDK for developers so they can also develop their own unique apps using our interface.
Okay. If our audience have time, you can check out Nothing's booth, right? Over there, just close to CATL, right? You have a booth demonstrating all the products. Carl, you have successfully sold out over 3 million products, including Nothing phones and Nothing earpieces. You have also have watches and a sub-brand called CMF, which stands for
Color, material, finish.
And finish.
Yeah, right. It's an industrial designer language.
We're going to CMF later on, but what impresses me a lot when I learn about your company, Nothing, is that it's actually quite something because you successfully break into a highly competitive phone market globally, where the global phone market has already been dominated by big players. I don't want to name them because everybody knows what those brands are, but how could you break into such a competitive market?
Yeah, I get this question a lot. Friends, like, are you crazy? Why do you want to do this? Investors as well and media. I think it's highly competitive, but also highly not competitive because in our industry, you only have a few very big companies and they're all kind of competing against each other. There's no small company apart from us. We are the only challenger brand in this industry, and that gives us a lot of freedom to do things differently. Like, for instance, when I showed you guys the unique glyph interface, like the big guys, they're not going to dare to do that because maybe their users are not going to like it. They're trying to sell to everyone. So in a way, I feel like yes, it's very tough. You need to be big to get the support from the supply chain, but there's also very little competition.
Little competition for the challenger brand?
Yeah, there's no other challenger brand.
No other challenger brand for the past 10 years, right?
Yeah, the last company is Xiaomi, I think. They started in 2010, so it's been a long time.
But your company is not based in China or the US, but based in London. Why?
So I grew up in Europe. I'm a Swedish citizen, and I just found that there's a lot of creativity in Europe, but maybe there's not a lot of industry. So I also lived for many years in Shenzhen, where I saw that the supply chain is very mature, engineering capabilities are very strong. So our idea is like, how do you match that together? So all our design is done in, the concepts come from Sweden, and then we have a more commercial design team in London, and then we have
The design team in London, okay.
yeah, and then we have a more kind of closer to the supply chain design team based in Shenzhen. So how do you make everybody work together to create something more unique?
Right. I want to say a bit about the design. So this phone is something that I've never seen before. It's quite light, and the interface design is something. It's Google based technology,
it's
right?
based on Android, but we've redesigned the entire experience.
Okay. So I'm very impressed. I mean, who would have thought that after so many years of dominance of big brands, like maybe top 7, top 8 brands, there could be, I can't call you a disruptor, right? Because you're a challenger brand.
I mean, it's sort of the same thing, right?
Right. Okay. But you are still relying on some supply chains and maybe precision manufacturing power in Asia to support the product.
Yeah, we manufacture across Xi'an in China and also Chennai in India.
Oh, in India.
Yeah.
Okay.
India is a big market, so we got to manufacture locally.
But talking about British design, because the company is based in London, and you just talked about the British design team, do you draw any inspiration from the British? I don't know what style is the British design, but we get very famous consumer brands like Land Rover, Range Rover, Dyson. Actually, you have someone from Dyson working for you.
Yeah, our head of design used to be the head of design at Dyson.
Wow.
So I don't know what the British design language is. I think we just try to get the best designers. I'm not a designer, but I know what I like and I know what I don't like. So I see my role more as an editor, right, giving feedback. But the designers, they're way better than me at designing the product.
Okay, so tell us your product performance in your primary market, which is the European market and also Indian market, right?
Yeah, we're in India. We're actually available in a lot of countries. I think 37 countries.
37 countries.
And the market split is a little bit different depending on the products. So for our headphones, our earphones, US is the biggest market, followed by Japan. For our smartphones, India is the biggest market, followed by Germany. So it's a little bit different. But I think just like 2 weeks ago, there was an analyst report from Counterpoint saying that we're the fastest growing brand in India. I think the annual growth rate was about 150%. So it's good to finally be on the analyst radar.
Right. I saw a photo of you with many of your Indian users, your fans in India raising their phones. It seems very excited being your user, right?
Yeah, it's been a long time without any new entrant into the market. So there's a lot of interest around the brand.
Right. Also tell us the second biggest category of, maybe the biggest product category of your product, Nothing, is the earpiece. Why earpiece?
Well, the way we think about the product categories is that we only make very popular product categories. So the smartphone, as an example, like 1 billion are sold every year.
1 billion cell phone globally sold?
Yeah. And the earbuds, 300 million.
300 million.
So very big categories.
Right.
And not only do they sell a lot, but also people spend a lot of time on their devices, right? So for our phones, people spend about 6 hours a day on average. So if we have the most popular products and the products that people use the most, then that sets a very good foundation for the future to build software and services on top of.
I want to ask a question. Maybe you've been asked a lot of times too, that you were born in 1989. You're still very young, in your early 30s, and you already successfully built up 2 companies. What make you have this self-propelling force to push you ahead? I mean, many of the successful young people like you may just, half retire in your first successful company like OnePlus.
I'm super excited about the future. I think we're not even 1% of our potential. So this might sound naive, but I believe we have the chance to challenge Apple and Samsung. And based on where we are today, a tiny player in the industry and where we can go, I think there's just so much more we can do. And the most exciting part is that we all sit on the dawn of a new tech era. AI is coming. And usually, if you think about the past, right, when we were younger, Nokia and BlackBerry, they were the biggest brands. And then the smartphones came and they kind of shuffled away. But now the AI era is here, so there will be a lot of reshuffling and changes in the industry. And although we are small, we don't have as much resource as the bigger companies. But this movie has kind of been played in the past. When a new tech cycle comes, a lot of time it's the more innovative, smaller companies that come out on top.
Okay, what would your insights, industry insight of making smartphones and smart devices in your previous experience in OnePlus and other phone companies before OnePlus let you know, or allow you to have that one insight that make you so different, that enabled you to become the industry breaker, at least in Europe and South Asia?
Actually, I was talking about this with my team yesterday night. Like, in the last 10 years, all these people that tried to make phones have failed, right? What's the difference? Like, why are we still here? Why have we been able to launch 3 phones and soon more to come? I think the key is to not be naive. Hardware is very complicated as a business because the value chain is very long, from supply chain to manufacturing, quality, design, engineering, sales, marketing, customer support. You gotta do every part well to be in this industry. You can't just be good at design. You can't just be good at software. And I think that's the main reason for a failure for other people in the past.
And your experience before at OnePlus and before offered you all these experience and all these know-how and insights?
Personally, I'm not.
Or is it just you?
I'm not an expert in any of those fields, but I just know that it's very difficult. So when we started this company, we were very adamant about getting the best people for each of the functions. And it was actually very hard in the beginning. When we tried to recruit people, nobody believed in us. We even had a software engineer sign the employment contract and then only came to work for 1 day. The next day didn't come anymore. Because it was a small company, you don't know if it's going to be successful. But now, in the last 12 months, we've been able to get very good talent from the industry.
Okay. Then some audience may have this question. This phone is so distinct, so different from mainstream phones like iPhones or Android phones. Why is it not available in the Chinese mainland?
I think the Chinese market is super interesting for the future. It's like one of the biggest consumer markets in the world. But as a startup company, we're only 3.5 years old. We have to really focus our resources. So in China, if we were to enter, we need to develop our own software, right? Because the Google services are not available in China, then we would have to build an even bigger engineering team and product team to build those services. And we're already available in 37 countries, and we're still a very tiny market share in each country. So the current strategy is to get bigger in the current markets. And then one day, when we're more mature, we'll come to China.
When do you think that will be?
Hard to say, but a couple of years.
Couple of years.
Couple of years.
But your earpiece products are already available in China, and on JD.com, I did a bit of research that you get thousands of positive feedbacks about the quality, about the design, about the kind of semi-transparent design, and even the packaging,
Because you don't have to develop the services for the earbuds.
Okay.
So we're kind of just testing the market a little bit.
So earpieces, earbuds are some gateway products to let the customers get familiar with the...
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we can sell our audio products for a couple of years, and then, once we reach some level of scale, we can come in with our other products.
Okay. A crucial question, a critical question for any startup company is that one will get profitable, because your slogan of business is make tech fun. What about make tech profitable?
It's very important because this industry is very supply chain driven and very cash flow driven. So we're constantly optimizing our numbers. When we just started and made our first products, the prices we were getting were sky high, right? Because the suppliers were like, I don't know if you're going to make it, so let me just make some money first.
They're not willing to offer you receivables, payables?
No.
Yeah.
got to pay in advance.
Yeah.
What if I can't? What if you go bankrupt and I can't get my money back? But in the last 3 years, every year our commercials have been improving to very quickly reach parity with the industry leaders. We're still not there yet. I think in the next 2-3 years, we should be able to reach parity. In terms of the bottom line, it keeps increasing. I think this year we should be not EBIT profitable, but net contribution profitable.
Come again?
Net contribution, profitable.
Okay, net contribution profitable. Okay. And you recently tweeted that your cumulative sales of product reached 3 million, but it's about time to calculate annual sales instead of cumulative sales. What does that mean?
I mean, cumulative sales is like how much you sold since you started until today. That's kind of cheating, right? Because other brands are always reporting the annual numbers. So if we want to be taken seriously, we should stop playing that PR game and just deliver the numbers.
Okay. It's not cheating. It's just a way of calculating, right?
It's a way of massaging the numbers, I think.
Massaging the numbers, but it's also a way of measure how successful or what kind of achievement had a startup company did. Because most companies just focus on one vertical technology, and they may have other cooperation, but you are essentially a hardware manufacturer. So you have more partners than people would think. You have software partners, you have the design partners, you have manufacturing partners, you have service partners. How many partners do you have?
And just think about the components. There's like hundreds, like 400 components in the phone.
400.
So each component, okay, some components come from the same company, but there's so many companies we work with, right? Just the complexity.
Lose a count.
I don't have the count.
You had to have counts. And so you think it's not impossible to enter the smartphone market 3 years ago because you think the current market is quite boring with mainstream product that enable customers to have the majority kind of functions, right? And then you broke into this market. Then do you think this market has enough barriers for other, breakthrough companies to come in? Is the barrier high enough?
I think the barrier is close to insurmountable.
Really?
For startups.
Insurmountable barrier.
That's why in the last 10 years, everybody who tried has already failed.
So you're the last challenger brand.
I might have to eat my words later, but right now I feel that way.
Okay, so we'll see. So the next big thing for Nothing in 2024 would be new products?
The main focus for us right now is to grow.
To grow.
Yeah, so this year is a big growth year for us. This new product that I just showed in the beginning, it's our best-selling product to date. And we have more products coming this year. Okay,
so you have Nothing phones, you have Nothing earbud, and now you just came out with a new brand, CMF. Tell us about why you have a sub-brand just maybe 2.5 years after you established the main brand.
Yeah, it's like it's a balance between the practical reality of this industry and our dream. The truth is you have to have scale. And CMF is a way for us to reach scale quicker. Because if you have scale, you get better conditions from the suppliers, better pricing, better working capital terms. And for consumers, there's so many different types of users out there. People like different things. Some people might not value the transparent design language. Some people just want a really solid, well-designed, high-quality product. So for different consumers, we're positioning the brands differently.
Okay, thank you. I think I got all my questions answered, and we've just used about 18 minutes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Carl Pei, founder and CEO of Nothing. Thank you. You really did something. It's totally not nothing.